Start by filling a pot with water and putting it on a high heat, and of course don't forget to add your pinch of salt. Wash the baby potatoes very well and then proceed into cutting them in half or in four, depending the size that you like. Once the water is boiling, add the cut potatoes and cook them until they are 3/4 done, which means your fork should be going about halfway through each potato. The reason why we cut the potatoes in advance is for the following reasons. We want to reduce the amount of time it will take to cook them, and secondly, we need to cut them to be easy to eat when we serve them, and if we boil them whole, then we have to deal with very hot potatoes, unless you have plenty of time and you want to leave them to cool down. While our potatoes are cooking, it's time to prepare our vegetables. Start with the onion, peel it, and then cut it into round shapes. Make sure you have a sharp knife, because as you can see here, mine is not very sharp and I'm having some difficulty in cutting the onion into round shapes. When you're finished with the onion, move on to the tomato and do the same thing. Cut it into round shapes. Again, you will need a sharp knife to do this easy. Final vegetable will be our lettuce. For this, I prefer to choose the leaves which are on the middle, which are a bit crunchier than the ones on the outside. I usually cut the bottom a little bit because that part of the leaf tends to be a little bit bitter. Put the vegetables we cut on the side and we'll use them at the end when we actually make our burger. Let's grate some cheese to use later on our burger. If you have slices, you can use those. Clean the 2 cloves of garlic by cutting the 2 ends and then smacking it with your knife. You don't want to smash it into a pulp, you just want to break it so the skin comes off easily. Now let's go ahead and make our burgers. We're going to be using 100% beef with a little bit of fat. To shape the burgers, I'm using this jerky. If you don't have one, you can simply mold them with your hand. I'm using approximately 125 to 150 grams per burger. When you're using the jerky, make sure that you press it down firmly so the burgers are nice and tight, so when you move them to the plate or you're trying to fry them, they don't fall apart. Keep going until you have all your burgers done, and then we are ready to start our cooking process. Our potatoes are still boiling and we're ready to cook our burgers. Place a frying pan onto high heat and then place the burgers into the frying pan. 3 minutes for each side should be enough for the burgers to be nice and juicy. Add some salt and pepper if you want, if you haven't already done it. Don't forget to pressure down the burgers every now and then with a spatula before they are cooked so they don't shrivel into very small burgers. The mincemeat has a tendency to shrink up. After the 2.5 to 3 minutes are passed, then flip the burgers into the frying pan and allow to cook for an additional 2 to 3 minutes. If one of your burgers breaks a little bit on the edges, like one of mine will do, don't worry about it, just let it cook. There's nothing else you can do at this point. This is why it was important to press them down firmly so they don't have this effect when we're cooking them. Once they're cooked, you can check if they're still juicy by pressing them down. If there's some liquid coming out of it, I think we are okay. Remove them from the frying pan and add in the same frying pan the slices of bacon. Cook the bacon to your taste. Some people like it crispy, some people like it a little bit softer, so the amount of time required to cook, it's 100% up to you. When the bacon is cooked to your liking, remove it, put it on the side, and we are ready to start our potatoes. If you're wondering what we're cooking on the other pot right next to our bacon, that is a blue cheese sauce. During our live stream on Twitch, somebody requested that the burger would taste a lot better with the blue cheese sauce, so I went forward and I made one. It's very simple. You just need a splash of milk and add as much cheese as you want, depending how strong you want the flavor. If you have heavy cream, it's definitely preferred over the milk. Then cook it until it reduces to the thickness you want. You should have this cooked on medium to low heat. Now we have added a brand new frying pan which has been warming up on high heat to add our potatoes. Once we add our potatoes, use all the seasonings you want: salt, pepper, rosemary, and additionally if you want to add a little bit of oregano for extra flavor, not a problem. Give them a good mix, then add a tablespoon or two of olive oil, give them another mix, and of course the garlic. Then let them cook until they get a nice golden color, while every now and then you mix them up. Potatoes usually take about 5, maybe 8 minutes, so if you don't want your burger to get cold, you might want to get them done first and then heat them up at the end before you serve. While they are cooking, we're also going to be doing our fried eggs on the small frying pan right next to our potatoes. For the eggs, we're gonna have to put a fair amount of olive oil in there, and once the white bit is done, then we're gonna take a tablespoon and we're gonna start splashing the yolk until it becomes a nice pink color. If you overdo it, it will become solid. We want a nice runny egg to mix with our burger when we start eating it. Once the yolk is pink, we're ready, so we have to remove them and place them on our burger. Once our eggs are ready, we're ready to build our burger. Let's start by putting the bun on the bottom and placing first of all the vegetables. I start with the lettuce, where as you can see here I've made a mistake. I put the whole leaf on the bottom. I would definitely recommend you cut it up the same way you would cut a salad, in very small pieces. It would be a lot easier to eat. Continue with the tomato, the onion, the burger, of course the slices of bacon, finally the egg, and then we pour on the top our blue cheese sauce. In this case, if you were using slices of cheese or the grated cheddar, it would have been below the bacon and the egg. Then we're gonna plate some of the potatoes on the side. Now, if you really fancy blue cheese a lot or cheddar more, you can put some on top of it if you like some extra flavor. Close the burger and you're ready to go. Also, please remember that if you like ketchup, mayo, mustard, and you want to add them on your buns, that is totally your call. And bon appetit! If you enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and of course leave some comments below regarding our recipes if you tried them.